Hi there, thanks for joining me again. I'm going to produce a pair of videos focusing on two photographers that are very similar in many ways, even though they are separated geographically by the continent of Asia. In this video, I'm going to look at the work and approach of Sweden's Anders Petersen. And next week, I'll delve into the Japanese photographer Daido Moriyama. They have both been hugely influential, and they tend to work from a place of chaos to produce images that are both startling and insightful about human nature. But I'm going to stick with Petersen in this video because there's more than enough to look at. The more I research Petersen and his work, the more I realize that the biographical type treatment would not be the best approach in order to convey the extent of what he's achieved. I've tried to include quotes and clips of him speaking because I think his words best convey his thoughts on being a photographer and also describe how he relates to other people.
They say that the camera never lies, but it can stretch the...
Anders Petersen is Swedish, 79 years old. He's published more than 40 books, and he's been described as one of the most important European photographers living today. Almost all of his photographs feel like personal diaries of his experiences with people and places. These encounters usually happen on the outskirts of towns and under the cover of darkness. He photographs from a place of loneliness and longing, a desire to find connection. He uses this emotion of longing in order to deepen his interactions, to inspire curiosity, and to transform his photographic experience into something that is continually surprising to him as well as to the viewer. He has a genuine interest in people, and that comes through in his approach to photography and how he positions himself within the world. By discovering the humanity in others, he discovers the same within himself. He maintains a position of humility and says that this stance allows him to open up within himself as well as to others, and takes away any need to defend himself. In order to get close enough to the people that he photographs, he's aware of holding a balance within himself and within the connection. He recognizes that photography is never innocent, because one brings one's subjective ideas and opinions to every situation. And it's the photographer's position of integrity that allows a sense of truth to be revealed within the communication. And what comes through in his work is his feeling that emotion is the ultimate form of truth.
I want to point out that I am private, that it doesn't exist any objective truth. It doesn't exist. Everything is subjective.
Petersen has been shaking up the world of photography ever since his debut publication called Café Limits in the 1960s. It centers on late-night regulars in a Hamburg bar. The essay captures a specific time and place which is no longer around. The bar was home to a family of pimps, prostitutes and their clients, mixed with transsexuals and thieves. This was his first attempt to seriously put a project together. He identified with these people and their situation. This group existed outside of society, and he saw himself as one of them. The bar was situated in the red light district of Hamburg, and it wasn't a place for the upwardly mobile. The book, published in 1978, became part of pop culture when Tom Waits used an image on the cover of his Rain Dogs album. Petersen had traveled from Stockholm to Germany with the intention of producing a photographic essay. A friend, Gertrude, took him to this bar, and initially he kept his camera next to him on the seat. He was concerned that the locals will see him as an outsider and reject his attempts to take photographs. He got distracted by talking and drinking and dancing in this packed bar, and then he noticed that his camera was being used by others to take pictures of their friends. They tossed the camera back to him, and from then on he was accepted as one of the crowd. He hung about for a month and then returned again and again during the following 2.5 years.
I try not to define my style. I don't think I have a special style, but I have a special approach. I like people.
In his book French Kiss, Petersen is again drawn to the fringes of society, this time in the south of France. One starts to question what drives him to capture this poetic sadness and the raw brutality of lives of people that seem to be constantly on the high wire, just one wrong step or one bottle of wine away from catastrophe. His images are sometimes hard to look at because the melancholy and the loneliness are so pervasive. Perhaps the urgency and the aggression of his approach are his way of exposing these emotions and at the same time shielding himself from them.
It goes here and not from here. When I shoot with my heart and with my stomach. And then this is very important for me.
In the 2000s, the expression in Petersen's images becomes darker and more contrasting. He says that he was inspired by contemporary Japanese photography. In order to continue working, he took up residencies in cities around the world, and it was through this practice that his concept of the city diary began to take shape. He didn't travel with boxes of equipment and assistants. He just packed his small Contax T3 and then explored the cities that he found himself in. He's always looking to tell a story. Each picture becomes a tiny narrative, and they combine together to tell a wider story. He's got two basic ways of working, the passing snapshot as well as the posed portrait, and they tend to blend together quite well. His city diaries took him to Italy, China, Japan and Chile, and he viewed each city and its people from the same viewpoint. He wasn't a tourist. For him, it's not a big problem to get close to people and to have a good time. He sees everyone as relatives, all one big family. He hadn't yet included his hometown, Stockholm, in his city diary project, but when he was offered an exhibition at the Stockholm City Museum, he had to look at his city with new eyes. He spent 4 years documenting the people and spaces of Stockholm. If you stop for a minute and think how difficult it might be to photograph your own city in a fresh manner, when everything around you looks familiar and ordinary. When one arrives in Stockholm, it looks like so many European cities. It's neat and the locals are just busy getting on with their lives. Tourists walk about only seeing what they've been shown, while Petersen wanted to produce something real that reflected what lies beneath the slick facade. Already in his 70s, he took on the challenge and relentlessly pursued his vision. He's now in his 7th decade of photographing, and he feels that the only thing that's worth continuing to search for is innocence. The naive, the simple, and to be happy with that. To me, it seems like that's a good antidote to the barrage of the trendy and the superficial. He's discovered that he manages to find moments of harmony within his life, mainly when he's communicating photographically with people. It becomes, he says, like an addiction for him. He continues to seek out that magical 15th of a second connection again and again.
The only thing that means anything for me is the contact with people, being true to people and being true to myself. The camera is not so important at all. It's just a tool.
Thanks for watching, and please look out for the companion video next week on Japanese photographer Daido Maruyama. Okay, cheers.
Documentary photography is so very important, but I just can say I have my roots in documentary photography. The only thing I'm thinking of when I'm out photographing and working is myself and the people in front of the camera. I don't think about the readers or whatever, never.